Women. We all love them, unless you're some type of sexist, misogynist incel. Then guess you hate women. But I love seeing them in stories, and as well as being in good stories and when they're compelling. However, there is this unfortunate myth that's been flying around the media and shows, and that's the strong female character myth. Today I'm going to break it down to you why this is a myth and how you need to avoid creating these types of characters. And I'll also show you examples of actual strong female characters so that you have an idea of what to model after. So first things first, what is this so-called strong female character? It's pretty much just the strong macho man whose only trait is being badass and shitposting on pretty much everyone else, especially men. And while I personally love seeing people get their shit kicked in, I'm also aware that not everybody laughs hysterically at this stuff like me. And characters should be far more complex and in-depth than that. Yet this disservice to women continues to exist. Like seriously, if I was a woman and this was the type of nonsense that was being used to represent me, I'd be up in arms. But, whatever, I guess. It takes almost zero effort to create these types of characters. These boring ass, bland ass, unseasoned chicken ass characters. And they're just as boring to watch. Like, let's take a look at Captain Marvel from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who's like the poster child for this archetype of character. In the film, we see Carol Danvers, our uncharismatic washboard of a main protagonist, attempt to regain her memories while trying to stop a Skrull invasion. Bro, I rewatched this movie for this video and I remember being bored with Captain Marvel the entire time. And once again, I was bored to high hell, which is one of the biggest problems that these strong female characters always seem to have. They always just seem to be this emotionless characters and they are almost devoid of any traditionally feminine traits. Now, I'm not saying that women's stories always have to be girly, sweet, and sunshine and rainbows, because they ain't all like that. But Jesus Christ, that's apparently a terrible thing to do when writing these strong female types. And therein lies the biggest problems with these types of characters. They just invite a ton of bad tropes that just bring down your story. Like them often being Mary Sue's or hardly having any meaningful losses or consequences for their actions. Which is the truth behind the strong female character myth. The strong female character is just simply lazy writing, coated with a bit of hatred towards men. It's such a tiresome and boring way to write characters, and it's probably just some sad-ass excuse of a power fantasy. And the worst part is that the story suffers as a result. When characters don't struggle, or have a good emotional banter with others, or always make the right decision, then you have the worst archetype of a character. A Mary Sue, like Rey from Star Wars, who won every meaningful encounter, was the best at just about everything instantly, could pull off feats with the Force that a literal manifestation of the Force couldn't do without training, and so on and so forth. Never create a Mary Sue character, or I will find you, and I will kill you. So how can that be avoided? How can we have female characters who aren't walking power fantasies or emotional washboards? The first way is to join my free community of writers, where we can talk about everything related to writing and strive towards our writing goals together. It's totally free to join, and check the link in the description to join now. Shameless plug aside, the key is to write three-dimensional characters. To actually give your characters weaknesses that actually hinder them. Unlike Captain Marvel and Rey, who can just win if they just close their eyes, or better yet, just stand up, which that shit was absolutely insane. Wait, the first time I saw Captain Marvel do that in that movie, where she just stood up, I was going crazy. There ain't no way, I said. But that's what they did. Terrible writing, bro. Never ever do that to your soul story. don't sully your story on your characters like that, man. It's just straight up garbage. It's almost like when you try to write a female character, they should try to be actual people rather than an FU to the patriarchy. Let's take a look at the Alien films, Ellen Ripley, and Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen. Ellen Ripley is our favorite xenophobic horror movie protagonist. In the first film, we see how she has to deal with the ensuing chaos that is going on as her crewmates get picked off one by one by the xenomorph. One of the most unacceptable creatures to ever exist in on the big screen. Like, nigga, I am mega xenophobic. Have you seen them mofos? Bruh. Super xenophobic. And considering that the cast don't act like complete idiots in the film, her survival actually feels kind of earned. It adds to the narrative at the second film where she has to deal with these creatures from space hell again. And as badass as Ripley is, when facing off against the alien queen, you could take one look into her eyes and tell that she is scared shitless. But she goes in there anyway. Details like that are what makes characters interesting, human, and relatable. Struggle is a part of life as much as grass is green. That's what these strong characters always seem to lack, bro. And they always feel inhuman because of it. And struggle causes growth within people, in characters. Take a look at our glorious dragon mommy, Daenerys. Within the first episode, this poor young girl is sold off by her brother to some savage horse rider chieftain, and it should have been me, not him. Why don't sell him to me? Sell her to me. Come on. Whatever. And as brutal as that is, she managed to turn the L into a W and eventually become the queen of a powerful group of warriors and get dragons, which are the equivalent of nuclear bombs in Game of Thrones. Even though she has to deal with various problems that come with her trying to be a liberator queen, like her when the higher class does not want the slaves to be free because they want to keep slavery around, and so on and so forth. And I know that she becomes absolute dog shit in season 7 and 8, but not only have I not seen that, I ain't trying to either, because I hate more than anything else in writing is when the writing is good, but then the writers decide that they want to be absolute garbage and just destroy the characters and everything that was established. That pisses me off to no end. This ain't Velma. We ain't doing that shit. I ain't gonna put myself through that. So in summary, don't let the women in your story be these whack-ass, boring-ass, white people lack of seasoning-ass characters. Give them doubts, insecurities, faults like everybody else. Because contrary to belief, women ain't pure angels who can do no wrong. They are people, and people are messy. Write them with all the respect that a well-written male character like Aragorn, Invincible, or Aang, and so on and so forth are. Now, if you like the vid, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.